Tyler, I appreciate the time. Thanks for doing this. I'm going to try and start with the ultimate compliment. I don't know how it's going to land. You were a very annoying player to go up against for Sharks fans. Is that a good way to start?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I think it was one of the things I first kind of heard when I originally signed here, and definitely the first day of training camp, I got asked a lot of those questions in all the media sessions. So definitely take it as a compliment. And
yeah.
Obviously that rivalry was a lot of fun back in the day.
It's been an interesting trajectory for you, a King for so many years, and then kind of bounced around between a couple different teams, but now on a 4-year contract with the Sharks. Is there some aspect, an element of just it being nice to settle in somewhere? And obviously there's a lot of optimism around where this franchise is going.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was obviously tough the past few years, and signing in Montreal, you originally think that you're going to be there for the long haul, and I had no trade protection or anything like that, and ended up being one of those situations where I kept getting traded to a contender. So that was obviously a lot of fun, and having an opportunity to win games and go to the playoffs. But now it's definitely a good feeling of having that trade protection and trying to build something special here.
To host the Sharks player Thanksgiving dinner, is that something that you offered up? Did somebody suggest that to you? And how did it go, by the way?
Yeah, it was one of those things that my wife, there aren't very many Americans on the team, and those who are American are young and whatever. So she just offered it up, and thought it'd be a good idea. And a lot of the guys said, yeah, immediately. And it ended up being a lot of fun.
There seemed like there was an inside adult table and then an outside, I don't want to say kids table, but was there some intent on that?
Not necessarily. I think the wives and girlfriends that were there kind of sat down at the main dining room table right away, and the guys who were outside were playing cornhole and stuff. And just when the food was ready, it was just kind of already set, and I didn't hear any complaints. So
yeah,
that's a good thing.
All right, sounds good. I don't think any of your seasons should be based on goals alone. That's a shallow way, I think, maybe to look at a season. However, just kind of looking at your productivity, it's amazing that some of your best goal-scoring seasons have come at age 30, 31, and here at 32 so far. Anything to that as you can kind of wrap your brain around why that might be?
Not necessarily. I think it's just one of those things where I feel like I've been around for a while, and it's, there's obviously going to be some ups and downs throughout every season. I think early in my career, it affected me a little bit more than it does now if I don't score, every, 5 games or whatever people might look at it. And I think now it comes and goes. And obviously with the kind of career and the places I've been, it's one of those things where I come to the rink every day and have fun. And I feel like when emotionally I'm having a good time, my play on the ice is pretty good too. When
you're scoring in bunches, the game probably just feels easier, or it just feels natural to you. When you're not scoring in bunches, and to your point, when it is a couple games in between, guys talk about squeezing the stick harder. What is it actually, though, that you're actually going through? Even if you play well, you just don't get one,
Yeah, it definitely feels like the goalie's taking up the entire net, and the net's smaller, everything that you can kind of think of is one of those feelings, and it feels like you don't have any time when you're shooting the puck, and you kind of rush things more than you normally would. And I think it's just one of those things where kind of in the middle of my career, someone told me, if I'm not scoring, just keep shooting and make sure you hit the net and make the goalie make a save. And that's kind of something that maybe that's helped me, later in my career is I find that when I'm not scoring or getting the chances, I'm not hitting the net. Or getting any chances to shoot. So that's one thing I look at.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Your stall at SAP Center is right next to Macklin's, and you sit in front of him on the team plane?
I used to.
Oh, you had to move that already.
Well, Pickles came back. No. Pickles came back, so I got booted from that, and now I sit near the back of the plane where the guys are playing cards. But I was in front of him and Smitty there for maybe one road trip.
So my thought here is, maybe they want you around Macklin. They want you around Will Smith. It would make sense to me. Is that, of all the things that are your role around here, do you take that as one of the things that you're trying to accomplish too, is be a little bit of a mentor?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's kind of why they wanted me here, and bring my experience and what I've learned throughout my career, and kind of help him and help Will along the way. And whether they listen to me or not, that's on them. And I try and be as open as possible whenever they're asking me questions. A lot of the time, some of the questions are a little outrageous, but No, it's good. I mean, they're great kids, and they have no problem asking anything, and they're just fun to be around for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been on a handful of teams, especially recently, with some highly touted younger players. What do you see in Macklin and Will? Maybe because you've now got a better taste of what it takes to come up in this league. Where are they at right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody. I think the expectations last year in Jersey were extremely high, so there are younger guys there
Right.
that it was just a different situation.
Right.
A lot more pressure, and whereas this year it's there's definitely not as much pressure, but they are still coming to the rink every single day and trying to get better, and they are getting better in my opinion from day one of training camp to today. It's been night and day in my opinion. So they're doing everything they can and everything in their power to try and turn this thing around, and every day is a challenge for sure.
From the team perspective, rebuilds aren't easy. It's not just, you make the right moves and it happens the right way. And it takes a lot of time. From your perspective, and you've been on a lot of good teams and you've gone up against a lot of good teams, how do you quantify progress of where your group's already starting to go? Like, what are the things that you notice?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the games, well, first off, I think it's not an easy league to win in, and I think we've noticed that, whether that's from the start of the year to today. We're in games, we're leading a lot of these games,
Yeah.
and not being able to close them out, or we're trailing by a goal and we tie it up, and then they score one late. Things like that are happening, but I think that's in my opinion a good thing. I think we're feeling kind of like the heartbreak in a sense, and we all kind of have that fire to come to the rink the next day and work things out, and that's why, in my opinion, we're staying in games. And
Yeah.
I think it's definitely an exciting time, and we're only going to keep getting better.
As I looked at your career, how many games you've played, the 4-year contract here in San Jose, like this would take you through the 1,000-game mark. What would the Silver Stick mean to you to accomplish that in 1,000 games played in the NHL?
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the things that that's the reason why I wanted a 4-year contract. Wherever I was going to be was to get there, and for me to hit 1,000 games would be incredible. I had a lot of doubters from the first day I went to the OHL, and people saying I can't skate, and I don't care enough, and blah blah blah. And I think that would kind of be the ultimate icing on the cake, in a sense of, obviously I want to win another Stanley Cup, and I see the future being really bright here, but having won a Stanley Cup, 1,000 games would be kind of the finishing moment for me.
Just looking at some league perspectives here, Ovi, and I'll just say he's about 25 away from passing Wayne Gretzky overall. Just as a player in the league like yourself, is that something you can root for, you hope to see? Doesn't matter to you? You're just interested? You're not interested? Where do you stand on that?
No, I mean, personally, he's obviously so close, and in my opinion, he's going to get it. Yeah, kind of no problem. But
I agree.
I definitely want him to get it.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want him to get it against us.
Right,
so,
right, okay.
It's something, you watch, and I watched some of the game last night, I believe it was, against maybe Toronto.
Yeah.
And, they have the goal counter up there, and,
right.
He's 26 away or 25 away, whatever it was, and he scored again. And, it's definitely something special, and something cool to be able to say that I played against the greatest goal scorer of all time.
He broke his fibula and then came back 40 days later, somehow, some way.
Which is crazy.
2 more things for you. You're not from California, let's make that very clear, but your time as a King, your time now as a Shark, and your wife, I believe, is from Northern California, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, there has to be something for you that's just special about being back out here in that sense, and she probably loves this too, right?
Yeah, no, obviously it's nice, and we got a taste of the East Coast, and that was awesome too. We really enjoyed our time in New Jersey, and being able to kind of travel and go into New York City whenever we want, and be able to go to Connecticut whenever we want to see our friends, the Quicks. So that was great, but I think just personally and for us, just being back in California, it's nice. It's easy to wake up in the morning, and your knees don't hurt when you're
right.
waking up, and, and it's snowing outside and all that. So just makes things a little bit easier and a little bit more relaxed. And then when you come to the rink, it's time to work, and you flip that switch on.
I don't want to get too deep into your wife's background here, but I did a little research. Her degree, broadcast journalism. She went to USC.
To USC, yeah.
So she might watch this interview and critique me on it.
She might. I believe she started a podcast too. So
oh, is she? All right. Well,
she might take some notes here. And,
no,
and also yell at me for a few
might be judging
too.
both of us right now.
Exactly.
Well, if she wants to collab, I'm around, but I'm sure you're probably the first guest.
We'll see.
Tyler, I appreciate your time in this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.